Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of FX forecasting. It's been an exciting week in the markets, and we're looking forward to another exciting week. It's been a great weekend, full of lovely weather. Finally, nice to have some good weather this weekend. So we're going to get started. Don't forget to thumbs up, comment, and subscribe, and get in the comments below. FX forecasting. Let's go. So euro US dollar was actually wrong on this one. Last week I predicted that it was going to be the turning point to go to the downside, which was this point here, which it kind of did do for a day, and then it done me in, and my forecast was wrong. This one, hands up, I got one wrong. I'm quite happy that I've got one wrong. I've been pretty hot on the ball on most pairs every single week, so not going to complain. Got it wrong. Looks like it's now moving into an uptrend, and I think that we've taken out this previous high, like we saw this spike and a bit of pressure to the upside. I now think we're going to see steady moves moving that way as well. Going down to the 15 minutes, you can see that how we've got this great support line now. We had a bounce back on the 22nd of February. Also today, bounced off of that. And I think now we're going to see February close come up around here, and then we're going to see price close off Monday next week. We'll see price continue to move to the upside. Some great entries on cluster as well to the upside if you was trading that side. If you was obviously looking for shorts, you wouldn't have really been doing much anyway because the trend is up. So even though my prediction was wrong, we didn't lose money, which is a nice place to be in. Moving on to pound against US dollar, I just thought to say that we smashed this one out of the park again. We was right on this one. We said that price would rally up and would get a pullback back to these moving averages. We've seen that. We've had the pullback, believe it or not. There's only a short one, which was 2 days, which actually is kind of all we've been seeing over the period anyway, over the last sort of month or two. Is a couple of days here, 1 day here, a couple of days here. A couple of days here. We're not really getting too much selling activity past 2 days. You can see that here as well. So we've kind of had 2 days sell off now, pretty much predicting that this is now going to continue its move back up, and we'll see price moving higher. Pretty interesting that we hit that level of 1.42. I'm just seeing continued growth there on pound against US dollar, and I expect that to continue moving up from a technical aspect. Elliot obviously go over this in a fundamental point of view as well, give his take on this. But yeah, overall looking super nice. And on the hourly, for those that know, obviously we had our TradeMate upgrade and our webinar that we held on Thursday. You're actually looking at a print screen of it here, which looks awesome. We was actually talking about how TradeMate we expected to get a couple of entries setting up on the hourly, ready to go long. We can see that on this chart now. We had quite a nice few setups since the trend moved to the upside on the hourly. We had 3 wins. We had a fourth as a loss, and then we've got these ones here that are setting up. They're currently in play at the moment to go back to the upside, and I think they're really nice setups. And it's a nice extended pullback. It's still a higher low off of the previous, so nothing too risky here. Just a bit of an overextension, and looking at taking this back to the high. So quite happy with that. Really pleased. So looking for buys on pound against US dollar, and it's done exactly what we wanted it to do last week. So smashed that prediction as well out of the park. So happy with that one. If you do want to grab TradeMate, you can grab TradeMate from the site for 20% off. You just go onto TradeMate on samuelktrading.com. Here you can see the link here on the video. Yeah, if you go to TradeMate, click checkout, put in TradeMate into the coupon code, and you can get 20% off. And enjoy using this awesome tool. So US dollar against the Japanese yen. So this is the previous week. This isn't this week. I just wanted to show you how accurate we are at the moment on calling the shots on US dollar against the Japanese yen. Again, I predicted further strength to the upside on this pair. This is what I drew last week. So let's see how it panned out. So we literally said that we expected to pull back and then continue the move back to the upside with price going above this 106 level. Well, look what happened. Look at that. Look, literally to the T. Price came back down and skyrocketed all the way back up. Let's go back to what we predicted. That's what we looked at last week. And you see, look, a couple of days down and then skyrocket back to 106. I literally drew exactly what happened. And there we go. So yeah, there's a before and after of US dollar against the Japanese yen. Now we've seen price come up to this next level, which is interesting, the 106.5 level, where we've got a little bit of resistance all the way back on 27th of August, shall I say, in the month of August, because there's quite a few touches on this level. So that's the area that I'm looking at. Don't forget, when you see large price movements away from the moving averages, we will see a pullback. So I expect that we may see another couple of days, maybe Monday or Tuesday, moving above, but I do think that we will see a retracement back down to the averages again before we see the rally. So just bear that in mind. We are bullish on this, but I do expect this week to see some sort of weakening coming into the currency to come back to the average price. But yeah, bear that in mind. But nipping down to the 15 minutes, for those that were taking those trades throughout the week, some absolutely awesome cluster trades, especially on Thursday and Friday. We saw here once the trend was up with the 50 and 200 moving average there on the 15-minute time frame, had a great entry here, signaled by cluster algo, all the way up to trading on R1, which was just absolutely awesome. And then again on Friday, early hours in the morning, price going up, hitting the pivot point, coming back to S1, and then rocketing all the way up past that to make weekly highs, which is amazing. So yeah, we expect price to retrace, so bear that in mind before we see the rally continue. So overall, literally spot on with US dollar yen for the last pretty much 2-3 weeks, hoping to be able to predict that again for the week that we're coming in. So excited about that as well. But let me know if you have any comments or questions of whatever you have in regards to my technical analysis. But yeah, like I said, we got one wrong this week. We've been pretty hot on every single pair for probably, I'd say, the last sort of 6 weeks, so it's bound to happen. But yeah, lovely analysis there on what we're looking at. I'm going to be handing over to Elliot now, who's going to be talking about what's happened in the week and what we expect to happen this week coming.
Very interesting week in terms of what's been going on in the equity markets as well as the bond market. We've seen yields, especially throughout the week, have been quite choppy. A lot of the talk is around this reflation trade, inflation coming back in the market. We've had quite a few Fed speeches. Powell's done a couple of speeches. Basically, every time he's come out and spoken, he's trying to sort of settle down the market, just to try and basically say that the Fed aren't too worried about inflation. However, the rallies seem to be getting shorter lived. We did see earlier in the week, Dow, I think on Wednesday, popped massively above to new highs, just over 32,000. However, on Thursday, this quickly reversed the trade, and at the time of speaking, it's basically back down at 31,200 level, which is, as we'll see in a couple of slides on the chart, quite a key level for the market, especially for bulls, as this level's held for quite a while now. So, if that level does break and we see, a daily close below that level, and that coincides with S&P and NASDAQ, then we could start seeing a bit of a bigger sell-off back towards maybe 30,000, back to those previous low levels. And as I'm talking, the market is literally breaking through that level at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see if it can bounce again. See, here we're talking now is Friday afternoon whilst we're filming. You'll know the result of that by the time you watch this video. So yeah, what else is getting hit? NASDAQ's getting really badly hit. So tech-heavy stocks are getting, one of the worst hit. They suffer from, this inflation trade. We've seen a lot of rotation out of tech and into the value stocks that do better in a recovery. So banks are doing particularly well because obviously they benefit from higher interest rates, which is ultimately what the reflation trade will lead to, or at least what investors and traders think it will lead to. Obviously, Powell and the Fed are saying, interest rates aren't going anywhere for now. We're still a long way from, full employment. We're still a long way off recovery. So yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to happen over the next sort of week or two, how this will pan out. I think if these levels are broken, then we may see sort of a wider sell-off. However, I don't expect it to last too long. Definitely buying the dip is has been very profitable recently. Any major pullback in the US indices, if you get the level right and you get the pullback right, then you can do very well very quickly. Tesla's another one to point out that's down 25% from its highs towards the end of Jan, and it's pretty much only at its previous highs of around, I believe it was in December. So even though that's like 20% sell-off, it's not actually, if you look at the wider picture, it doesn't look that bad at all. Interesting one to look at. Amazon and Apple, again, obviously tech companies, they're pulling back as well and looking, potentially quite nice. It's about time they got a bit of a pullback. Back over in the UK, obviously early in the week, we spoke about it last week about Boris Johnson announcing the plan to reopen the UK economy. So, quite a lot of steps that we have to go through before we are fully open again. They said it's all irreversible, so once we're out of lockdown, we shouldn't happen and go back in again. Whether you believe that or not, it's not the first time that they haven't changed their mind before. However, they want to get it right this time. They don't want to rush out. So they're looking at 4 key metrics before each stage they reopen parts of the economy. They're looking for like a full reopening in June, which again, that's positive for the economy. Airlines reported a surge in bookings. We saw EasyJet, one of the stocks that Sam shouted out very well. BA as well, that's back at around 200p on Friday. So it's broken back out of that sort of range level that it was stuck in. EasyJet as well is at 1000p. So, things are looking quite good in the UK, especially if this path that's set out goes to plan. If we see a really bad variant that's, affecting, like the vaccine isn't effective against, then could all change around again quickly. However, things are looking good. Obviously, Sam spoke about pound hitting 1.42, which again, highest level we've seen since 2018, and the key level we pointed out last week. So I think a pullback was, about due. If you look at the weekly, it's a very interesting chart. So yeah, maybe that key level again, if we see a wider pullback, 1.375, if that holds, then I think that'd be quite bullish again. And it'd be interesting to see, obviously, if US dollar continues its rally, how that will impact the pound. Another thing that's been affected by this reflation trade is gold. So gold continues to pull back. It's at the time of speaking around that 1760 level again. So quite a key level for bulls to hold. If that drops and we see it again, a break through that level, $1,700 is looking quite likely. So again, another interesting one to look out for. Bitcoin, we spoke about last week, actually hit $58,000 earlier this week. However, it quickly pulled back to around $45,000, which seems to be holding for now. I think the key level for bulls in the shorter term anyway is that $42,000 level, that previous high, which we saw once it broke through, that quickly went up to that $50,000. So if that can hold for now, I think we'll see, onwards and upwards, potentially 75,000 in the near future. If that breaks through, then I expect us to quickly retrace back to that $30,000 level that held back last month. So interesting times all through the market, really. Again, we're tracking the COVID vaccine progression. The UK population is now at 27.5%, compared to last week, I believe it was 24%. So yeah, we spoke obviously about Dow briefly. This was last week, and we said, as long as this key level here that we have highlighted around this 31,200 level holds, then we should see a rally. If we go on to this week, so we see it actually came down right on that level, tested it, and then popped higher above 32,000. A huge rally. I mean, look at that chart; it looks hilarious, doesn't it? And it just came all the way back down on Thursday, and Friday we're back at that level now. Like I say, that level's broken. I think we could quickly see 30,000 on the horizon. It looks like it's going that way at the moment as we're talking. Also having a look at Ftse. Ftse is quite an interesting one. It's been very range bound, been stuck in these levels that we've been speaking about for quite a while. It broke back through those levels, and we said as long as this 6550 level holds, it should be okay. So obviously that's that initial breakthrough. Went all the way back up to 6,800. It came quickly back down, crashed back down through 6,700, all the way back down to that around that 6,550 level. And then from this week, it's basically just range bound between 6,550 and 6,650. Again, it tried to break through, got up to 6,700, and then came quickly back down to 6,550. Obviously, we had some positive news come out on Monday. However, the overall market hasn't really picked up momentum based off of that. It's been more specific stocks that have done well on the back of that. And obviously what's happening in the US isn't really helping matters with the overall Ftse 100. Also want to show the Bitcoin chart. So there's Bitcoin on the hourly. Again, like I say, it went up to that $58,000 level and then quickly sold off to around 45,000. It's touched that almost 3 times now. We've seen quite a significant bounce each time. However, like I say, I think the key level that bulls will want to hold, especially short term, is that 42,000 level, which you can see was the previous high back in sort of January time. So yeah, interesting times in the market. And then finally, what's happening next week? Main sort of thing we're looking out for is more news on this reflation trade. And is this going to be the start of a wider sell-off? Are we going to see dollar strength come back into the market, and what that means for gold, Bitcoin, the indices, etc. We've got the UK budget on Wednesday next week on the 3rd of March. Again, quite interesting for businesses, especially what relief or what support is the government going to give businesses. There's a lot of talk about loans, further loans, what will go on, what will happen with furlough, stuff like that. So definitely one to look out for on Wednesday. And then again, more news on this stimulus package. If this stimulus package is positive and looks good, then that could quickly, see equities recover a lot of the losses. And then obviously next week, next Friday, we've got NFP, big one out of the US, and unemployment rate. Again, obviously with everything that's going on at the moment, the markets will be looking at that quite intently. However, Powell, the Fed keep reiterating that they're not going to act too quickly even if they see employment jump up and inflation, just because they think it's going to be a temporary measure. However, the market is seeing things quite differently at the moment. So a lot happening. Definitely keeping us on our toes, and obviously lots to report back to you guys. As always, hope you find these videos useful, and if there's anything else you want us to sort of focus on, just let us know in the comments.
So guys, as a quick wrap up for you, proper exciting news. Thanks Elliot for all of that fundamental news. Obviously I'm going over the pairs. We're expecting euro dollar to go up, pound dollar we're expecting it to go up as well. US dollar yen, we are expecting a bullish market, although we do expect a couple of days of selling off to come back down to the averages before we see price go higher. Super exciting week, guys. Make sure you get in the comments. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.